Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this live stream with CoinW. My name is Gareth Jenkinson. I'm the head of multimedia at Cointelegraph, and it's a great pleasure to be hosting this live stream today. And we're going to be really looking back at the year that was and talking about the year that is to come, because it's only a few days to go until we hit 2026. And I think that there are a lot of burning questions on a lot of people's minds about what to expect in the year to come for the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. But before we get into the bulk of the conversation, I'm going to do a very brief introduction of Nassar, Bell, and Arda, and I'll give them a chance to talk a little bit more about what they do at CoinW, Mantle Network, and Alchemy Pay, respectively. But a bit about myself. My name's Gareth Jenkinson. As I said, I'm the head of multimedia at Cointelegraph. I've been a journalist covering Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency ecosystem since 2017. I am the host of Cointelegraph's daily X show, Chain Reaction, which you can catch Monday to Fridays. So please do come ahead and join us. But today we are going to be talking about CoinW. We're going to be talking about the crypto landscape. We're going to be talking about Mantle and Alchemy Pay. So it's a great pleasure to be leading this conversation, and it's very much going to be a conversation. But things first, let's chat to our guests. Nassar, you are the glue that's holding all this together. You guys invited us to be a part of this conversation today. So why don't you tell the audience out there a bit more about yourself and CoinW, and then we can keep going from there.
Sure. Thank you for hosting this great session today. And we would like to welcome Bell and Arda as well. So my name is Nassar Ashar. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at CoinW, driving the full strategy in terms of expansion, going globally and so on. We had a very exciting year, 2025, where a lot of achievement has been done at the CoinW side. So the whole team was working very hard for the past year, delivering the best what we can for our community, our users, and so on. And that's why we're achieving more and more presence in the region and globally as well. And we issued different product as well as our DEX, which is the W. We issued GemW that's dealing with all the meme coins and so on. And the most important thing, which is we focus on all the time, keeping our community and our users with the best platform and with the best security in place ever. That's why we had 0 incidents for the past 8 years, and we are proud of this. And looking forward for the 2026 with a huge plan and huge vision ahead. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Bell, hi. Good to have you with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and Mantle Network?
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Belle. I lead the ecosystem and partnerships in Mantle. Basically, it means that anyone who interacts with Mantle will have to talk to our team. It's been a very exciting year for Mantle. As you know, Mantle is a layer 2 Ethereum chain, and there's been a lot of different shift and also directions that we want to achieve. And especially this year, since we had the Bybit integration back in August, there's been a strong shift towards RWA, which is what we believe the market is going to be strongly focusing on. Aside from RWA, obviously, Mantle is continuing not just to support its own ecosystem, but also work very closely with Bybit in order to bring on more projects which are more sustainable and also to build a more long-term partnership. It's been a really good roller coaster 2025. We started the year with a lot of different projects which went on, which is very diverse. And since we actually changed our direction, there's been very significant changes in the types of partnerships that we went. A few weeks ago, we just announced our big partnership with Aave, which is one of the largest lending protocol. It means that even though we're switching our direction and focus on RWA, we still need to actually focus our effort in growing the DeFi protocol in order to bring the bridges together. Aside from that, there's also an announcement last week with the first ever Mantle native vault. We're also focusing on that space in order to build more sustainable strategies on the chain. And in the next year, very, very soon, we will be announcing a lot of very exciting partnerships, which are more related to traditional finance. And hopefully that can be continue to grow in 26.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that continue as a trend. Arda, let's throw it over to you. A brief intro and a little TLDR and Alchemy Pay, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the great hosting. And also, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Bell on the term of roller coaster for the 2025. It's been the same for us. But the team has been working like real hard in terms of like regulations, compliance, and like mentally also, dealing with RWA. Recently, we have integrated RWAs within our platform, which is a huge, implementation. Right now, we are the first one in the world to offer direct fiat access to tokenized US stocks. So all in all, the 2025 was amazing. And as the ecosystem lead of Alchemy Pay, I had real fun and enjoyed the year, even though it was like shaking and like still have some fluctuations. All in all, it was a great year. We hope to have even a better year at 2026, hopefully.
Beautiful. I mean, let's start off the conversation now with a bit of a vibe check, because I think for me, 2025 has been largely positive. I traveled to a lot of conferences. I saw a lot of positive movements in the right direction, sprinkled with quite a fair amount of negative movements. And I think more recently, the October crash, led a lot of people to believe that perhaps we might be at the end of a bull market and going into something of a bear market in 2026. It's a bold statement to make. It's not something I necessarily believe, but I do think that there will be some sort of a structural breakdown or some sort of a capitulation in the next 12 months. But again, I'm a journalist. I'm not a market analyst, so I don't think I'm the expert when it comes to that. But perhaps we can just go around and whoever wants to take it first. How was 2025? What are your sort of initial expectations for 2026? And could we see a bit more of a shaky market in the next 12 months? Nassar, maybe let's start with you, because I think CoinW probably has a lot of interesting markets and research insights that you can give.
Look, I'll describe it like more a structural reset, not a traditional bear market. So we're not seeing the system break or capital disappear completely. The liquidity is there, but it's more careful. And speculation is lower, and fewer people are chasing fast profit, and prices are moving more slowly. This is how I can look at it from the top. But underneath the surface as well, the core of the industry is still working. Infrastructure keeps moving. Real use cases continue, and institutional players are there and growing more and more. And you can see this from one event to another. Especially we as a CoinW, we only target tier 1 events. So we met together in Singapore, and we saw the excitement of institutions and so on. And the last event, which was in CoinMina, the top players were there: MicroStrategy, BlackRock. Everybody is there seeking opportunities. So instead of a crypto winter, this looks more like a longer, flatter phase where hype matters less and fundamentals and trust is more important. You know what I mean? This is the most important thing. How we see it for the last year, and we're moving forward to a very exciting year in 2026.
Bell?
I think 25 is a year of breakthrough for crypto. I was just checking the prices of the 1st of January this year, and I realized that it's actually around 93K for Bitcoin, and then we're now actually quite close to 93K. We've been struggling, around that range for a few weeks now. So I can't say because of that whether we're entering another bull or where we're actually entering a bear, because we're actually back to where the original bull was in 25. But there are actually some things that I noticed during 2025 which really put me to a bullish point of view. Aside from what Nassar said about all the people that you've met in conferences, aside from seeing a lot of different new names that originally existed in other industries and then coming into crypto, this is the first year that some of my older generation friends actually ask me how to actually buy crypto. This is a very, very bullish news. And at the same time, they would ask questions like, oh, which ETF do you think is the best to buy? And this is actually a very bullish indication of they're actually paying attention to it, even when they don't understand anything about it. I wouldn't expect that people would actually go like all in into it, but at least it's a way for them. It's a demonstration that it is very bullish. Aside from that, we see a huge influx of capital, not just in institutional names. We know that there are a lot of institutional players in the market in crypto already. However, the institutional names are actually from traditional finance. We speak to a lot of them now, and in the 26, all the plans that they have played out and all the things that they want to achieve is just going to be bullish for the market. So I can't say on behalf of the market itself. It's just that based on maybe the narratives that I see and also all the different people that I've been talking to, it is quite a bullish sign.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
Yeah, so I'm totally agree with everything Nasser and Bell said. And okay, the thing is like there's shaking, you know, the market is shaking, fluctuating and everything. But as Bell said, we are not that far away from where we left off, you know, the Bitcoin in terms of. But I think this is more like a inevitable process that we had to go through, you know. I always use the same example with the space shuttles, you know, when they leave the orbit, they drop off some modules, some parts, not because they're like falling off, but because just to, you know, keep things together and like go on slow but steady and actually move on properly. So I think what is happening right now with the market is that because there are a lot of get rich instantly, get rich overnight stories, so it also damaged the whole presence of the market. So I think this year is not going beer, hopefully, but yeah, I think it's just you know, creating a space to breathe from all those noise, because at the end of the day, it had to happen eventually, because something had to, or some phase had to cut down all the noise so that the real sound of real work can be loud. So I think that's why we are experiencing this, and that's why we are not far away from, as Bell stated, from where we left off the Bitcoin. So it's more like a cleaning and reorganizing phase. And in the long run, I think this will be quite beneficial and you know, helpful for the whole market. And for 2026, I think this cooling momentum will have a drastic, beneficial and, you know, a good impact on the whole market.
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Actually, the key factor is time.
Go ahead, Nassar.
Yeah. So I mean, the key factor is time. So all the activities, if the activities stabilize and gradually pick up, so it will be considered like a small just reset, you know. And especially at the Q4, you cannot. Q4 of this year was a little bit like stabilizing phase until we reach 2026, and where everybody will be focusing on new institutionals and new, let's say, vertical in order to inflow for this market.
Yeah. Look, before we get onto the you know, real discussion about institutional capital coming into crypto, I did want to chat a little bit about one or two of the trends that started off the year versus not really being present. And I think, you know, in January of 2025, I was in Davos for the World Economic Forum, and inside the World Economic Forum, I had a chance to, you know, ask Brian Armstrong in the panel that was in WEF about the US plans for a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And that was just 3 days after Donald Trump had launched the Trump meme coin. We had the Melania meme coin. A few weeks or months after that, we had Javier Milei's Argentinian meme coin, you know, and that whole narrative was big last year and in the beginning of this year. And I don't really see anyone really talking about meme coins anymore, but it makes me think about how much capital and how much attention that might have taken away from Bitcoin and maybe some of the other more important utility coins and protocols. And if you think that was necessarily a bad thing, and if that is behind us, and also how you go about building your infrastructure to cater to these things, right? Because I mean, obviously, CoinW is an exchange, Mantle is an L2, you know, Alchemy Pay is a piece of infrastructure. You want to serve the needs of the market, but in Web3, things move that quickly, right? Like, not even 12 months ago, meme coins were the center of attention, and now we're not really talking about them anymore. What are your thoughts on meme coins, and are they gone? And how do you kind of change to build and change things? Because we can talk about RWA straight after this one, and it's a similar narrative, but it's not something that's just going to go away like meme coins. I don't know who wants to take that one.
I can go on if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So memes, I have this saying for memes. I call them the thermometers of whole Web3. The reason I think we don't see them a lot recently these days, because the October crash and everything, due to their nature, people tend to buy meme coins when the market is going up, because they potentially promise the utmost X is like 100 times or like 1,000 times, so that you can make a lot of money. But at the end of the day, when things go down, they are the first one to be left out. They're the first one to be dropped out. So that's why I call them the thermometers. And I think, even though right now they are not around as the key narratives like RWAs or anything, but I don't think they're gone. They'll be back when things are going up once again. I think they're here to stay, and that's actually why we keep on supporting meme coins within our ecosystem. I think they're here to stay.
I actually have some thoughts on that. I agree with your other on they're here to stay, but for a slightly different reason. I think it has to do with how the industry is structured now. We've got all these players coming in who are focusing on something different, which is different from meme. And you know how the crypto industry used to be very theme driven. We have some NFT summer, and then we have some meme seasons, and then people were playing all the other stuff which lasts for 2 to 3 months, and they're gone, right? The difference of the meme this year that I've seen is that when I used to do OTC in the very beginning of the year, I was still with the OTC firm, and I see that even miners, people who have never touched memes, will come in and buy big slots of meme just because they think that this is actually getting into the play. So I see that there is still some interest in terms of big blocks, but I also see that the active players of memes are still people who are actually quite native in the industry because they know what's going on. But the more things that I see is that people actually start to focus on getting alpha instead of just beta. If you follow where the market is growing, that's what you said, exactly what you said. It's great when the market is going up, but I think that the more thematic thing for this year is that what happens when the market goes down? What can I still hold on so that I don't lose too much and I can keep my money within the space? And so I think that they will still stay, but I think the thematic behind what the memes are and the themes around the memes, maybe they'll be more related to AI, which are more supportive in terms of industry. We also see a lot of social fi coming out as well, which are actually based on traditional business, which can be very interesting. So that's my 2 cents on memes.
Nassar, I'm sure you have a hot take.
Yes. So look, from an exchange point of view, we try to be agnostic of any product in place and so on. And we try to provide our clients the best tools possible in order to support them in the best way. So what we did for the meme coins, we created a new product, which is GemW, which integrated with AI to provide you with the best meme coins available in the market, because too many people are fooled with these meme coins. They don't know which one to pick up, and thousands of meme coins are being generated daily and so on. So from our side, to be agnostic and to provide the best tool possible to our users and clients and so on, and to protect them, we created this new product in order for them to select the best meme coins present in the market and put them, share it with them with a product called GemW, so they can select these meme coins the best way possible and they can integrate with it and so on. So this is from an exchange point of view, right? But it's definitely the meme coins and the future of meme coins are being in place, and there are trends, and these trends are being driven by different influencers and social media and so on. But as I said, from our side, we have to be there to look at it, how we can protect our community, our users, the best way possible, and to provide them with the best tools so they can pick up among them. Yeah.
Look, I think it goes without saying that when it comes to meme coins, and I, in my own personal capacity, I've always been kind of critical, and I just don't think that they have a lot of utility other than, being the vehicle of community, which is great. If there's something that you like and there's a meme coin that you like and you love the community and you love everything around it and you want to trade it, go for it. And that is why exchanges and infrastructure providers go and provide the liquidity for people to go and trade them. And I'm not going to tell people what to do with their money. I don't think they're the most useful things, but people want them and they need platforms, and it's a lot safer to do it there. Like I'll be honest, as a journalist and someone who's been involved in the industry for a long time, I always go and play with things as new trends emerge. When Hamster Combat came around, I got on Telegram and I played Hamster Combat. When there was a new meme coin, I went onto random dexes and I got the meme coins, and I got rug pulled here and there. And like, I honestly say that I'd rather go to a centralized exchange and know that I'm trading a certain meme coin and it's safe to do it, than some of the other experiences that I've had. And I mean, I'm not a complete degen, but I at least know how to play around and do the right things. And even I still got rug pulled and, had some bad experiences. So if we're building the right things, that's good. But to move away from meme coins and to another far more important narrative for me was the rise of sort of real RWA tokenization. And I think in 2025, we've seen a number of different protocols, exchanges, infrastructure providers really finally providing a product that is great. Like whether it's, tokenized commodities or, equities, we're talking eToro, Tesla stocks, that kind of thing. That is a perfect product market fit. And there's literally trillions of dollars waiting to come into this ecosystem. That's one of the most exciting things for me in 2026, and I'm sure you all probably share the same sentiment. But I'm curious to hear, like, are we talking trillions, like Matt Hugin of Bitwise told me a few weeks ago? And how important is it to get TradFi into Web3 through tokenization of RWA?
Yeah. So let me first make a quick introduction about RWAs for our, audience in here. So real world assets are like a physical or traditional financial asset represented on a blockchain, to make it as simple as that, as a digital token. So, and examples on this, you mentioned it, that includes the real estate, the bonds, the commodities, equities, credit instruments, whatever, And the most important characteristic of the RWAs are the fractional ownership. So you can own a small fraction of a large asset, all right? And this will have a huge impact and effect on the real estate economy, and especially for cities who already have the infrastructure and the best system to support that. And this will provide liquidity, and this will increase the liquidity. So countries like UAE or Dubai, they start already tapping on these things and trying to regulate RWAs, right? Which is the bridging between the TradFi and DeFi. So definitely 2026, it's gonna be tapping on a huge market on RWA, and we will be having private credit and loans, intellectual properties, commodities. Everybody will be contributing in this space. So it's gonna be a very excitement year for the coming year, 2026. This is how we see it.
Well, RWA tokenization on Mantle, what does that look like, and how crucial is it to have sort of layer twos and I guess protocols and infrastructure that can really power the sort of throughput and everything that you need to do what traditional stock markets do every day?
Yeah, I agree with you guys that RWA can open up a lot of different access to liquidity in general. Whether it's a $1 trillion market next year, I'm very unsure, because there needs to be a lot of infrastructure and understanding to be built before that happens. This year, we see that a lot of people are building. We also see that assets are going on chain. But after the assets go on chain, what is next is actually the big question that I think in 2026 that we need to resolve. We have been talking to a lot of different people who are interested in RWA in general, from asset issuers to tokenization platform, or even people who have initiatives to run RWA related business. The major gap that we see here is that they want to tokenize something, they want to bring it on chain, but they haven't really got a concrete go-to-market plan in what next. How do we access the customers who will benefit from these? Like what you said, like the tokenized stocks, aside from being able, or tokenized asset, aside from being able to be fractional, the most interesting thing or the most exciting thing is that you can actually tap into the market that you originally could not tap into. For example, someone based in South Africa can actually buy a Tesla stock now, because they have access to certain exchange who provides that. But how do that link together is actually, the major key in what we need to absorb, or we need to actually be able to offer in 26. And this is why we think that we're in a position where we can potentially offer an exciting marketplace, a longer term strategy, not just bringing the asset on chain, but thinking of how we can actually distribute it across the different channels via our ecosystem. There's also a lot of government who are also working on these initiatives as well. And you'll notice that all these existing on-chain assets are either within the private network or within their own ecosystem, within the whole sandbox, which is not scalable because of the nature of how it's built. So I'm looking forward to 26, where people actually break all these blocks so that we can actually bring in the $2 trillion, because I think we're stabilizing on this private network and private chain type of model where people have tested enough to really go live. And these are also a common theme that I have spoken to a lot of players for the asset they have on private chains right now. There's also huge plans to bring on public chains. And that's also why we see also a lot of chain interaction as well. There's been a lot of cross-chain bridges which are built in order to work with each other to bring this RWA together.
Harder, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on RWA tokenization.
Yeah, I mean, Nassar and Bell said like pretty much everything, but yeah, I mean, let's try to look at a different aspect. As I said, it's like cooling momentum, like dropping off all those rates, and also as you said, people are unsure if this is going to be a bear market or like it's going to collapse or anything. So in these challenging times, people are actually tend to rely on things that they already know about, they already trust with, accustomed with, and everything. So RWA actually is bringing that to the table, because they are directly linked to the traditional investment tools that people already know about, that people are already preferring, and they are already benefiting from them. So RWA is actually playing a huge role, because right now the market is getting more grounded, more tangible, and with the implementation of RWAs, real world assets that people actually can hold on to. So this is a huge with onboarding, even for like non-crypto people. This is good for crypto natives, but also people outside of the field also like having fun with it, because RWAs are easy to explain. They're real assets. They're like clear ownerships and familiar rules, because it's been around for a while. So all in all, RWAs is going to be huge. It was huge for this year, and also 2026. We are expecting like many more things to come up, because they are not just bringing these, but also they are providing accessibility, as Bell stated. If you live in an underbanked region or a region that you cannot invest in these type of preferred traditional tools, so you have issues. But right now, as I said, we already implemented within our ecosystem, and today we are looking at more than 60 United States tokenized equities, such as like Nvidia, Google, and so on. This is actually democratizing the investment opportunities for everyone all around the world, and we believe that that's the whole. That's what Web3 is all about, like providing accessibility, transparency, and breaking down all those preconceived barriers, and actually making the whole finance keeping up with today's needs and wants and pain points and everything. So all in all, we will be introducing many more equities and also different types of various types of RWAs, as Nassar said, like real estate and many more. So all in all, yeah, RWAs are going to be huge next year as well.
Yeah. Look, the adoption, I can say that the adoption could reshape everything, investment, markets, financial value, But the key factor here is regulation. So the more the regulation in place and the faster, the more the implementation will be. And the progress being very close to the regulatory authority here in UAE, I can see it how fast and they are trying to jump into it, but to make sure that every step they make it is well studied and will not harm the ecosystem from one side and the end user from the other side. Because institutional interest and technology maturity will be the key drivers moving forward in the space. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's really important to have the right sort of regulatory framework in place to let all these different companies and infrastructure providers actually do what they want to do. But it's pretty clear to see that as everything becomes more tokenized, and it will, just because of the efficiencies of that technology versus stock markets that only trade Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Why are we even still doing that when we can do that 24/7? Why would you use Swift to transfer a few $1 million when you could actually just do it with a stable coin and transfer a huge amount of value with a stable coin or even Bitcoin, and not have to trust a central party to do that? So it kind of seems like a no-brainer to me, but that's just not how the world works. There is entropy and it takes time for these things to happen. Look, 2025 has been really great and really testing in various ways. I'm very curious to ask all three of you some of the challenges that your businesses have faced and how you've overcome those, and perhaps some lessons that you'll take into 2026. Doesn't have to be big or like a Bybit hack level learning, but maybe one or two things that happened this year that you're like, wow, that was an interesting experience, and we know how to do this better next year. Belle, I'm gonna start with you.
I think there are two folds to this, right? The first biggest, I can't say is challenge, because I think if you're not up for challenges, or there's no challenge within the industry, you're not really growing. So you're constantly looking for challenges so that it stimulates some changes so that you can grow. I guess the way that we actually steer towards the direction for RWA has caused an impact within the organization, because historically that's not what the chain does, and also obviously working with Bybit actually positions us to a very, very different level. And hence we started talking with a lot of different players who read the news and then comes to us. And then that's come the real big challenge after the internal challenge. The external challenge is that people assume that you're gonna provide everything as long as as long as the asset issuers come to you and say, hey, we want to tokenize this, what's next? And they don't really have an idea of the true understanding of what it means by on-chain. Like what you said, it is a no-brainer that if everything is on-chain, then there's efficiency, there's transparency, and it's also very international. But there's a huge trust issue. There's a huge time lag in terms of the education on what is right. Why is it the case that they need to pick this route, and also how to overcome certain regulations across the different areas that they're in. And so this is actually the biggest, what we think is blocker, but also something which pushes RWA through is the regulation and also the education that is required, so that they can truly believe that they're doing it really for the efficiency and transparency, but not doing it because for the sake of doing it. What we see a half right now, and we want it to be fully moving towards where people actually understand the benefits of it.
Nassar, you want to jump in there with some big takeaways from 2025?
Sure. So look, for us, it's everyday challenge, and the biggest challenge for us is to stay disciplined, independent of the market and what's happening in the market. So for us, that means focusing on our fundamentals. Our fundamentals are the product, the risk management, the infrastructure, and independent of the market and what's happening around us. So we take it an opportunity sometimes for us to develop more, to invest more in our R&D, in order to place more product into the space, to integrate with other third parties, and that's why we keep on expanding beyond the trading facilities that we provide and the structured product that we have, and so on. So these are the main things that we deal with on every day, and collaboration as well. We double down on the collaboration and integration with the different parties in order to keep our platform available and the best, let's say, elements in place for our community and our users. So this is how we look at it. Then we analyze the new year that's coming with a very strong plan. On our last Q4, the whole team and the whole departments at CoinW, they were working together to put in place the best plan and the best vision possible in order to start a new year with a fresh vision and the guidance from the top management that they have in place to be one of the best platform in place, because a lot of challenges happening and a lot of regulation is changing from one country to another and so on, and it's not easy to cope with all this interaction together, you know what I mean, and to keep our product well maintained and one place for everything happening around. Yeah.
Arda, from Alchemy Pay's perspective, I've been looking at the website and there's so much news about integrations. I think it goes for all three of you on this call, just like breakneck speed. But yeah, what's the biggest learning?
Well, yeah, I mean, first we, of course, what we have done, what we do the best, and meet with our users, we meet with the community, and actually listen what they have to say, what they want, what they need, what are the pain points and everything. So, and also with all the expertise we have, and also the know-how and everything, we had this foresee of where people actually need more and more cross-border efficient value transfer. People need more tangible assets connected to crypto and Web3, like RWAs and everything. But I think if I have to say a challenge, I think the challenge was to stay calm and trustworthy and actually focus on doing what you do best, because the reaction was totally emotional. All we had to do is focus on what we do best. As Nassar said, in compliance and regulations, it differs from country to country, and especially in the United States, it even differs from region to region, so state to state. So it's it was a tricky thing to do, but luckily we have a dedicated and experienced compliance team. So we focused on our licenses. We obtained as much as license and registrations that we can and also we need. And on top of that, we focused on our work with our RWAs. Gladly became the first one to offer direct fiat access. This is all about providing some real utility for everyone all around the world, not just within the Web3 field, but also outside of the field. And then, of course, we focused our attention after the RWA to our own layer 1 blockchain, which is Alchemy chain, that is totally about stable coins and stablecoin payments. So I think all in all, what we have done is that, keep steering the wheel, stay calm, and do what you do best. Eventually, the people's behavior and the money's behavior always tend to do the same. Look for security, look for regulations, transparency, accessibility, and we did that. We provided that.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's I think everyone faces those same challenges as they go. We've been going for nearly 40 minutes, so I think I'm gonna finish up the live stream now with the sort of final round of questions, and that's I'm not going to ask for a price prediction because I don't like to do that, but I do want to ask for some sort of a crystal ball prediction on what the big trends will be next year. And I will go first just so that you guys don't get thrown under a bus. I think that privacy will continue to be a big narrative into 2026. We saw in the last 3 months this huge narrative around Zcash and a big pump in the price of Zcash in particular, but a load of other privacy protocols also seeing a lot of interest. And I do think as things become slightly more dystopian in some countries and some regions, and people's privacies and freedoms get a little bit challenged, they will start looking for more private ways to communicate with each other, more private ways to transact with each other, more platforms and services that don't compromise their data. So I think that'll be a big one. I do think that we will see some sort of an escalation in Bitcoin infrastructure development. There's been a lot of talk around the quantum threat in Bitcoin once again. So I do think at some stage, the Bitcoin core developer community and a few other people will come out and kind of come up with some sort of very clear way in which they want to deal with this. I do think that RWA tokenization is also just going to be a huge narrative going into next year. And again, we will have more and more institutionalized products relating to cryptocurrencies, more crypto ETFs that tap into the actual benefits. I think the Solana staking ETF was a really big narrative that was probably downplayed. And then also just the big rise in all these crypto DATs, digital asset treasury companies, which are basically companies that are listed on public stock exchanges that hold an underlying cryptocurrency, whether that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and all the other tokens that are out there that have become big DATs. So I think those are kind of three big narratives that I'm expecting to see. But really, RWA tokenization, whether it's private credit, whether it's properties, government debt, commodities, stocks and shares, that's going to be the big play. And then, of course, just stable coins. Nassar, you go first.
Yeah, look, so as mentioned, I look at it like for the new year, and this coming new year is going to be very exciting, and builders should prepare for users who are more informed, more cautious, and more demanding than before. Because now everybody, they are being in this space, and they experimenting every day and trying to think out of the box for everything. So focus should be on reliable product before the growth. And real use cases is very, very important. And when we see governments who are forward thinking, like advanced government, I can take the example here because I live in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and I'm very close to the government and the regulations. And I had the chance to be the co-founder of Dubai Blockchain Center. So how they are designing the country and how they are forward thinking and the products they will put in place, this will have a huge opportunity and a huge impact in our industry. So I remember back in time in 2017 where no one was there, and now all the big names are here to contribute in the space. So this is something huge. And adding on these products and elements, what you have in terms of new technology, like the AI, which is still early, but it has a huge impact. It's going to have on the future and integrating with the products that we have. So from a CoinW perspective, the next wave of adoption won't be driven by any hype, It will come from the institutionals and builders who treat crypto or blockchain as a financial infrastructure and build things people they can rely on every day. It's not anymore like something not real and not tangible.
Well,
I have three themes that I think it's gonna be big. I'm gonna stick with RWA, obviously. One of the observations that we had in the past 3 to 4 months is that depending on how you define RWA, some people actually think that it's only real world asset which counts, and some people think that stablecoin or even wrapped major coins are also part of RWA. And we see a huge influx in terms of TVL coming from stablecoins, which were to our surprise. So we think that this is probably driven not just because of the globalization of the use of stablecoins, where more stablecoins linked to different currencies are existing, but actually driven by payment. I'm sure Arthur is going to give more insights on that. So we think that that's going to be a big theme. Whatever that is real world is still going to slowly go on chain. But because these asset issuers are normally quite a little bit slower in action, it wouldn't actually grow as fast as stablecoins. That's the first theme. Second theme is I completely agree with you, Gareth, on the ETF. My take on ETF is not just having more ETFs with different coins, but also ETFs which are linked to baskets of coins. There'll be some theme ETF which comes out, maybe majors, maybe there's some interesting combination which actually has correlation on certain themes, because we are seeing that people are actually looking into providing research reports on certain coins or certain tokens in a very professional way. And I think that can be something that would be interesting to see, and likely that we will be able to see as well. And then the third one, it's something that you guys might not have mentioned in this call, would be BTC related strategies. We all know that BTC has been a very hot type of token that everyone actually goes to. And then I think someone just said it today on Twitter that BTC is digital gold, someone very important in the US. Because of that, a lot of people have been holding it, and traditionally they were whales who was just sitting on it. But we saw a lot of selling over this cycle, and so we know that more than 70% is actually sitting with institutional players or TradFi right now, which means that they also need some passive yield, or they might want to do something about it. We're seeing increasing amount of people going into BTC native strategies, trying to use BTC to generate some passive yield so that people can actually still hold BTC while getting yield. We're also seeing people actually looking for solutions in order to keep the yield going, given that as we actually progress the next halving, we know that the price bump is probably not going to be as exciting as the past few bumps. And we see a lot of these programs actually rolling out as well. And that's not just going to be benefiting all the BTC individual holders or whales, it's also going to benefit what you mentioned, Gareth, the DATs, because they're holding a large chunk of BTC, unsure of what to do with it. But the three themes actually all relates to one common thing, would be trust and sustainability. ETFs, traditional finance asset, BTC, also something which is very sustainable, aside from on top of RWA, which is actually backed by real world asset. So this has actually become a very common theme. Trust and sustainability is where I see as the major theme next year.
Arda?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna mention at least like a fourth thing. The first one, I have to start with payment, as Bell stated, and also you stated earlier that as a no-brainer, why are we using the old ways, still in today's needs and promising potentials and everything. So payments are here; they're the backbone of every industry, and today we need that even more. Faster cross-border value transfer, for salaries, for like shopping and everything. Merchants can accept cryptos and everything so that they can actually get paid from some other part of the world. So payments is first, and then of course tokenization or RWA. A lot of reason for that, but mainly is like dragging a lot of attention that people can trust, because user behavior and money behavior has shifted in 2025 in recent years. So they are more cautious, doing more research. They need more trustworthy projects and like tools. So RWAs are definitely one of the main narratives. And of course, as regulations getting a little bit draconian, like getting stricter and everything, so compliance-driven infrastructures and ecosystems will be one of the main narratives as well. And last but not least, AI has found its way within our everyday lives and also in finance as well with AI agents. And even though right now they are not living up to their full potential, they are like limited with many things, KYC, they like independence, require human oversight, and so on. But they'll be one of the main narratives as well, and that is exactly why we are focused on Alchemy X, which will be the payment infrastructure for all AI agent ecosystem. We believe that we will see them live up to their full potential. So yeah, all in all, these four aspects are the main narratives. And for the builders, all I can say is that don't build for hype, just build for real problem solution, real world utility, and you'll end up, being one of the main projects out there. Just don't build for hype. The noise is down. The sound of real work is loud and can be heard right now. Focus on that one.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. I think it goes without saying that we should only be building things that people need, and when you do that, people will come. Nassar, do you want to have any closing words before we wrap things up?
Speaking about AI, I want to add on Arda. We have in UAE the Minister of AI, and every ministry now they have a new role which is called Chief AI Officer. So around 43 people who are holding this role in every ministry in UAE, and they are trained in order to put in place AI integration for the coming year, so the whole country will be automated on AI, and this is something will be a huge transformation will be in the space. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Another thing that's just a massive narrative is AI, and most people don't realize how disruptive it will be. And we can probably do a whole nother live stream on that as well, Nassar. From my side, I just want to say thank you very much for having me as a moderator, and thank you so much for hosting this live stream. I think it's been really fantastic. It's great for Cointelegraph to partner with CoinW on this, and great to chat with Bal and Arda. And Nassar, I'll hand it over to you to close things off.
Well,
first of all, we'd like to thank you. Sorry.
There you go, Nasser.
So first of all, we'd like to thank you, Gareth, for this great opportunity. And we always consider Cointelegraph as one of best partners in place. And we're glad to be with you all the time. And we're happy to explore more and more with multiple partners. And also would like to thank Bell and Arda for their contribution and their huge contribution today in this session, and all the information that they provided. I think this is very important to be close to the community and share with them all our plans, our visions, and to listen to our community and interact with them from now and then, in order to be more and more effective and more being closer to them, and to deliver the best product in place, and to be part of this ecosystem where all players, they can contribute to provide the best services possible to different countries and different communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone. And if you enjoyed this live stream, please go ahead, like and retweet, get the word out there. And we look forward to catching you again next time. If we don't catch you before the new year, have a fantastic New Year's Eve. And we wish you a very, very bright and productive 2026. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.